the USA, where everyone needs a gimmick. Star vs. the Forces of Evil is a great show, despite the name being a mouthful to say, but the show is only as good as the main character, so you know what that means. But who is she? Star Butterfly is a 14-year-old princess from the planet Muni, who is in the process of learning how to hone her magical skills. When we first meet her, it's on her way to the ceremony where she's going to get her wand for the first time. How does she show up? Late and causing havoc. This is our first meeting of the character, but we already know so much about her. What do we know? She doesn't like formal engagements, as we can tell from her tardiness to the ritual. She was able to stay still for that painting of her and her family only to have a complete disregard for it so she can have fun coming down the railing. She even calls herself reckless and irresponsible.
Some people have called me reckless and irresponsible.
She loves adventure. We can tell this from her unicorn riding skills and the fact that she loves fighting monsters. She says she likes to have fun. She wants the power of the wand clearly, but lacks the care for caution and only wants it to have fun. This is already a fun and flawed character, which any character should be. From any episode and all episodes, you watch the writers don't deviate from what makes Star, Star. But I wouldn't give the writers too much credit, because one of Star's qualities is that she changes her mind every second. Which is really infuriating when trying to nail down the motivation of the character. But for Star, I can let it go because it only adds to her anarchetype. That's anarchy and archetype, mixed together, because I'm an intellectual. Star is a social butterfly, no pun intended, and loves to make friends with everyone, including certain characters that would normally get under the skin of the protagonist. Let's look at other shows like Kim Possible, for example. In the show, Kim is on the cheer squad who is led by Bonnie, the popular rich girl who says things and goes after Kim despite her all the time. Kim is upset by this most times, and we as an audience relate to this and have someone to root against. Same in the show Totally Spies, with the same character archetype, but instead of Bonnie, it's Mandy. She always tries to undermine the spies and steal their dream boy, David, away from them. In Atomic Betty, it's Penelope. Danny Phantom, it's Paulina. The list goes on. But with Star, there's a character archetype with the same attributes in Brittany Wong. But the difference here is Star's reaction to her attempts at attitude. Star is the bigger person, but not because she has the better moral compass, but because she never notices that Brittany has any malicious intent. Why? Well, because Star is kinda dumb. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me explain myself. There's a difference between dumb and stupid. A stupid person doesn't have book smarts, while a dumb person doesn't have street smarts. At least that's how I learned from my siblings growing up. A dumb person basically has no common sense. Anyway, Star on Earth, at least, is unaware of some of the earthly ways that people talk or attitude they give off. Star treats Brittany with kindness even if Brittany is a bad influence, which isn't noticed by Star since she herself is also a bad influence? I know, kind of a stretch, but keep with me here. Since episode 1, Star has had a fear of going to St. Olga's school for wayward princesses, and she should have that fear. She's not the peak image of princess material, based on how the queen acts and talks, and from other examples of princesses we see later. She's really rather selfish, putting fun and her looks ahead of other people's desires and safety. Even in non-important activities like games, she changes the rules halfway through to make sure that she wins. Not because it's fun for everyone else, but because it's fun for her. I also base Star's bad influence on her supposed best friends, and company she keeps around the most. Ponyhead is a complete bad influence. She parties too hard, doesn't care about others, but more about herself. Kelly and Tad, who are in a really toxic relationship and care more about each other than most others. And Tom, her demonic ex-boyfriend, who seems to have a mean streak going for him, and has hints to be a bit abusive. Star had the smarts to steer clear of him for a bit, at least, but he seemed to slide his way in anyway. Lesson to you ladies out there, if he hurt you once, he'll do it again. Leave them in the depths of hell where they belong. You like that? That's a gimmick original. Take that one with you, wherever you go. I mean, most of these characters are really nice once you get to know them. But from the outside looking in, they look like the popular clique at high school that you'd be too afraid to ask to get out of the way of your locker. The only good influence Star keeps around is Marco, and she was more forced to be a part of his life to begin with. And Marco didn't even like how she acted with complete and utter disregard for anything. Wow! What a wacky pairing! This type of character that she is, bad and good at the same time, just gives more meaning to each episode that she has, because we're wondering how much she'll change as she grows up and matures. The animation of the show also is a huge factor to the character of Star Butterfly. Like, even her facial expressions, the way they're animated, they aren't something I'm used to when it comes to female expression. And I think I tried rewriting that statement 4 different times because I didn't want to come off like an SJW cuck, but it's true. I haven't seen female cartoon characters with this level of facial changes and emoting. If you don't like it, then fight me. But not in real life, like, animate you beating me up or something. Star has more than one outfit, and her goddamn cheek things, they change? They're such a cool design element in my eyes, and they add something even though it's really subtle. Sometimes they're hearts or skulls, sometimes they break, judging on how she is feeling or her character at the time. There's also a lot of nods and winks to other popular animation. 2 examples being this character looking like Sailor Moon, and this sprite necklace that looks like it's right out of a Ghibli movie. Honestly, if you're a fan of animation, then this is like animation porn right here. Wait, that's not what I meant! That's not what I meant! Shadman, no! No, stay away! Not Star! Not Star! I feel like the day and age that we're living in is very cynical right now. It's trendy to be cynical. Mr. Robot, Dexter, etc. Maybe not in cartoons per se to be cynical, but Star represents the actual literal power of positivity. She was always trying to have fun, making someone smile, or is smiling all the time regardless of the situation. Like a less annoying troll doll. But Star also has fears. She has a difficult relationship with her mother over the pressure of becoming queen one day. The fact that she will have to give up her fun-loving attitude for a bureaucratic, boring political position scares her so much. It's not a constant in the show, but it's never dropped when her mother is around. And when she is around, it's always mentioned. Star knows what will eventually befall her, and she doesn't like it, which is why she seems to be going through this rebellious phase and breaking the rules at any point possible. And even though she wants to be free, she knows one day she must take the mantle of queen. But when she does, she will make some changes of her own. She refuses to be fake or perfect and wants all of Earth and Muni to know who she is.
Who are you?
I'm a magical princess from another dimension.
Example being the fact that she doesn't keep her powers and abilities a secret, which in a lot of other cartoons where the main character has powers, they keep it a secret, but Star doesn't, because she doesn't feel like she has to, and because she doesn't want to be fake ever. Another example of this is when, spoiler, it's like worth it, just watch it. Star is different and that is great. Why? A lot of writers think that the only way to make cool female characters is to make them this emotionless, badass character, because they're afraid of making them too girly. With Star, she has a genuine personality. She's not just girly or tough. She has a mix of different characteristics that makes her a character. She's funny and silly, and at the same time she's tough and good-hearted. Not tough like Faith or sassy like Buffy, but she's just a person. A person who happens to be a girl. A person who acts how she's gonna act. It's not saying that Star is making girly badass, it's saying that girly can be badass. That's what I love about Star Butterfly. She's a whole multitude of characteristics all rolled into one, and it makes sense for her character. She's selfish and not at the same time. She loves people, wants to be herself, and has ambitions of having fun and being free. She's an amazing character, and Star is great. Clear your schedules, gentlemen. I mean, most of these guys are really nice. They seem like the popular clique you'd be afraid... Fuck! Taking a drink. From the outside looking in, they seem like the most... Fuck. But from the outside looking in, they seem like the popular clique. I mean, most of these guys are really nice people when you get to know them, but from the outside looking in, they seem like the popular clique you'd be too afraid to ask them to get out of their way. Fuck. I mean, most of these characters are really nice when you get to know them, but from the outside looking in, they seem like the popular clique you'd be too afraid to ask them to move out of the way and you God, I really need to fix that. I mean, most of these characters are really nice once you get to know them. But from the outside looking in, they look like the popular clique at high school that you'd be too afraid to ask to get out of the way of your locker. Nailed it!